let's grab some Lumiums because we got a planet to save. We jumped into the Seed of Life on Steam, and it's supposed to be an action adventure game, but I would say it's more of an adventure 3D platform style of game, and it's based on a girl called Cora who lives on a planet called Lumia, and it sounds like she's the only person on this planet. It's dying as well because the sun is dying, and it's been overtaken by aliens called Normarians, and it corrupts everything and it brings darkness to this planet. So after all that, what did you think of the intro?
Oh,
The start of the game.
It is quite dark. It does do a very good job of setting up the premise, explaining to you the backstory that's relevant, and getting to the real bleak nature of the situation. The gameplay, how you experience this character's journey to the seed, it's quite not so serious. It is a platformer. I think that's the most accurately a way of explaining this action, because it's not so much about fighting enemies. There's a little bit of avoidance, but it's more about getting through the area around this kind of natural problem. It may be a river that's too cold, you can't go through it, and you need to find a bridge. It might be a hole in a mountain you're looking for, just some sort of thing to literally overcome. And that leads into kind of the first problem that I have with it. It leads you from one problem area, one section, to another, but I felt really disoriented. Like I wasn't sure of which direction I was going, where I was supposed to go. It does kind of give you a little bit of voice line to tell you, we're looking for a doorway, we're looking for this pedestal. But it just, that was so easily lost on me when I'm moving from area. And in each individual spot, I got lost a lot of times. We mentioned this. This is one of the real difficulties of this game is, where have I been here before?
Yes, I totally agree with you. I spent ages just going round in circles trying to find how to, like you said, how to cross the river because it's corrupted. And if you go in it, you die.
Yeah.
So you walk around and you just find a little crack or a gap between two rocks. Then you think, oh, what's up here? And then it takes you to the next point. You have to go to certain plants as well and gather these Lumiums, which you're like a vessel that you have to collect as much as you can to get to the end part of the game for the Seed of Life. And each time you get past certain areas, you come across pedestals where you get little puzzles. The puzzles I didn't find hard at all. It's just like 3 rings, you just line them up, and it sort of activates the pedestal, which is then becomes your save point.
Real difficulty in this game is trying to find a way over the obstacle, and a lot of the times that was difficult. So it had me kind of wanting more in some directions, but also being satisfied with the main meat of the game.
Yes, and as you travel on, you do come across one of the aliens, Nomorian, who actually wants to help you, and then gives you a disc where you can actually start collecting abilities to help you collect all these Lumians. And I have to say, there's one of them that will actually tell you where there's points of interest, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, and this actually did make me feel nausea.
Oh yeah.
And it's just because it goes all hazy, and I had issues with the camera angle of the game itself. And I will just quickly touch as well, I actually played this with controller. I know you're a mouse and keyboard person, so I don't know if that was contributing or if it's a sensitivity, but I hated the camera angle, and I also hated the jumping as well, because you do a lot of jumping, and I found when you sort of jump, it kind of stopped in midair and then just fall. And I died so many times because of this. I don't know if you experienced the same issues as I did.
That's frustrating. I didn't have the exact same issue, but being on mouse and keyboard, I felt kind of chunky. Like every movement was jarring, and it was hard to get that fine articulation that you would want for a platforming jumper. So a lot of the time I would be just slightly off, and that would just I wouldn't have enough length in the jump to make it. That was super frustrating. It didn't usually result in a death, but it did just set me back the whole action. Graphically, I think it does the job. It doesn't look bad, and it kind of has a style about it that is
Yeah.
certainly a positive that way, but it didn't seem new.
No.
It lacked a lot of kind of, I guess, textures and stuff. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it kind of reminded me of like a 360 game. But
Yeah.
we're a whole decade on from that now, so I thought that was a little bit disappointing. But, I don't want to get the wrong opinion across. It did
No.
the job.
Yes. Oh, and the other thing I'll just quickly touch on as well, this bit I did not really understand, is you can actually go up to lanterns and tap them to make them go brighter.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the point of that because it was almost like a cutscene. You get close up and she taps the lantern and it goes a little bit brighter, and then after a while it goes dim again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was supposed to be not a checkpoint, but like a guide to sort of say you've been in this area, because you do keep coming back to the same areas again.
Actually, that's
would-
a very good idea. I think that may be the purpose functionally, because that would have helped me a lot.
Yeah.
This is more of a preview, not quite a review. Both of us have played a lot into this game, but we're not quite through it, so it seems unfair to really give it a nominal score. But I'm going to actually recommend this one. I think it's quite an interesting premise, and I think the storytelling will come across really well in most cases. It has some action to it, but that's not the focus point. But
Yeah.
if you're going to recommend or not, what do you think about this, Steve?
Ooh, I have to say I'm kind of on the fence post because it's still like $30. I feel like it's incomplete. There's still issues and bugs that could be sorted out. It would be nice a bit more interaction with other things as well, instead of just keep walking around and dying.
Yeah.
So until they sort of do an update or do something, I mean, like I say, they're making me feel nauseous as well on certain of the abilities. I'm going to say not recommend for me, unless they do something drastically to make me want to jump in and play it again.
Well, I think that's fair, and that's certainly a valid point. But we're going to possibly return to this one if it does experience these updates, feels more like a finished product. Does ITG recommend? Well, we're split on this one. It's worth a look if you are a fan of dark storytelling, but it is not very action-oriented.
The sun is weakening, and every day it's getting darker.